usually have affirmations up, around me. So when I get and sit at my desk, I have my affirmations that I send. And I just take about 5 minutes to myself just to do some deep breathing and just to kind of think about what it is I want to achieve for the day. So that's what I usually do. Now, if I wake up late, then that all goes to hell.
Okay. So being consistent on waking up on time,
Right. Help.
exercising,
Yes.
hydrating the right
Hydrating.
way.
Exactly.
With you balancing all the other things, are you planning out your week, plan out your month? Are you a physical calendar? Like, how are you actually keeping yourself
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, for sure. I use Google Calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. I cannot remember many things. And I think it's because I'm juggling so many things, but I put it in my calendar. I've tried writing things down like a to-do list, complete failure. That does not work for me. So I have to put it in the Google Calendar, which notifies me, hey, by the way, you're supposed to be doing. I'm like, oh my God, that's right. So that's what I realize works for me. I also try and do things all together. So when I'm creating content, I try to shoot more pieces of content all during the same day because I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my makeup that day. Like before I did the show, I shot some content and I shot a video for LinkedIn earlier and everything like that. So I was like, okay, this is the day you're going to be, and I have an event to go to later on tonight. So I was like, this is perfect because I just do the hair and makeup. I'm good. I'm going to do it all in this day. It just makes sense, that sort of thing. I think the other thing that's really important to me is to have those times where there's focus times where I'm like, this is the time that I've got to focus and get this thing done. And also to have days that I'm not like beholden to anything. So that's typically for me, Mondays and Fridays. I typically do not have meetings on those days. If something happens, if I end up sleeping a little bit late that day, that's okay. But I give myself grace on those days, which I didn't used to do. But you have to put those breaks in your day because we're not machines.
Right.
You're a
Yeah.
human being. You need that time to reset. You need that time as a creative. You need that time to think about the creative process
Yes.
and things that you actually want to create.
Calendar, focus, space is what I'm getting
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. All
Yes.
right. We are coming to the end here. This is the last closing segment. I'm going to call this 2-minute drill. I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
The first one being, what's one skill that everyone should master to have a successful career?
Well, I will say storytelling and how to be and writing. I think that's something that, like I said, you cannot really, that's something that people can't take away from you. So whether it's writing or how to tell a story, and I will say this, there are a lot of ways that you can tell a story. You can figure out which way makes sense for you, whether it's like for instance, I listen to a lot of podcasts and I'm drawn to certain podcasts because of how they tell the story and how they deliver it. It's the same thing if you are someone who watches a lot of YouTube. There's a reason why you keep going back to a certain content creator because you like how they tell the story. So consider that. Now, I'm not saying that you got to go out here and be like, okay, now I know how to write a story, but you have to know how to craft a story. If you're in a meeting, you're telling a story. If you have to create a presentation, you have to tell a story. You're doing any type of presentation and you're, doing virtual or in person, you need to know how to tell a story. So that's the one thing that I would say master, and use social media to help you master it. There's tons of great storytellers out there.
Yeah.
Find them and see how they tell their stories. Instagram, Threads, TikTok even. There's people who can tell you a great story in 12 seconds. That's genius.
That's where I am. I'm long-winded and I've been trying, and that's my goal for this year, along with filming at least one podcast episode a week. I have to
Amazing.
figure out the genius of being able to tell a beautiful story or a joke
Yeah.
succinctly is, I struggle. Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking
Yeah.
of storytelling, is there a book or resource that you really recommend on how to be a better storyteller or how to think about personal branding?
Now
Or podcast even?
yeah, I'm gonna be a little controversial, to be honest. I have not read personal branding books. Now, here's why. Now, I'm not saying that they're not great ones out there. The reason why I don't is because it is very easy for me to read somebody else's stuff and it's in here, and then I start regurgitating it. So I want whatever I'm sharing with you to come from me. It needs to feel authentic to me. Now, I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I love Trevor Noah's podcast. There's another one, Ratchet and Respectable, because I have that duality as well. And
Still, well, I thought we did, but not all of us, but I
yeah,
understand.
yeah, I love that. And let's see, books that I read. So one of my favorite books is called The Four Agreements. And that one I think I recommend it to everyone. It's a quick read, it's easy. And it has helped me tremendously in life in terms of how to think about things and how to like show up. In terms of being in corporate, especially if you're a Black woman, I think you've probably heard of Minda Harts. Her book, The Memo, was one that was instrumental for me. What women of color need to secure the seat at the table. She's written 3 other books since then. She's brilliant. I would say if you're in corporate and you're a Black woman or a woman of color, for sure, read that, or read all of her books. Another podcaster that I really love I love Marie Forleo. Her podcast is really great. Most of the podcasts that I listen to are ones that I'm getting information or I'm learning how to take better care of myself. And just information, because I don't know everything. I really don't. Diary of a
Why don't
CEO.
you?
And, like people like Stephen Bartlett, The Diary of a CEO. He has so many amazing people on there. I'm fascinated every time I listen to his show. I'm like, I had no idea. This is amazing. So I listen to learn. I consider it, going to school or something like that. That's how I kind of get the information that I get from. So yeah.
You just dropped a bunch of jewels in like a minute, so this is good. I'll try to put them in our description on the video.
Yeah, of
Last
course.
question before I want to give you some space to tell us where we can find you. If you give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
The one thing that I would tell my younger self is, well, first of all, is to invest, because when I was starting off in my career, I had no idea. I thought you needed tons of money to invest, So now that I'm older, I'm like, could have been doing this when I was 23, like you don't need a lot of money. You just need the knowledge, investing into the S&P 500 and, buying stock, even if you're buying a stock, a month with your small salary for now, but all of that grows. But I did not know that when I was younger. And then the other thing is to get a mentor or get a career coach. I did not know that was available to me when I was coming up. I thought it was only for executives or for people who were at a certain level. But no, you can get a career coach being entry level, starting in your new company. You can get a career coach anytime, but humble yourself enough to know that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I think I was definitely young, ambitious, and cocky. And I thought I knew everything. But as I got older, I'm like, unbelievable.
Same.
I'm sure all of us feel that way as well.
Just a little bit. Okay, Trish, this has been amazing. I want to give some space here as well. How can we find you? You have your live show, you have consulting, you're doing a lot. So what are you doing? What are the websites or what are the channels we can do to find you?
Yeah, the easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn. You can message me on LinkedIn. I'm Trish Lindo at LinkedIn. And the easiest way is just DM me because I'm always on LinkedIn. The other way is when you're on my profile, I do have a website, trishlindo.com, easy peasy. My show, Too Ambitious, is live every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. It's 30 minutes. It's quick in and out. Get your information from all these incredible women founders. And it's every Thursday.
Is it a new person every Thursday or
It's a new person every Thursday. Yes. And it's live on LinkedIn and it streams also too on my YouTube channel. I used to stream on IG as well, but I'm using Restream and it's become just like a hot mess. But whatever. We'll talk about that another time. But you can always find it. And if you are on LinkedIn and if you're like, hey, I missed it, it's okay. It's in my feed. So if you're on my profile, you'll be able to see that show anytime. You can go back and watch it if you want. So, yeah.
Trish Lindo at LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
The live show. I'm going to put all this in the description. So if
Of
people are
course.
looking for you, they'll be there as well.
Yep.
And then I think I'm obviously following you on LinkedIn. So yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do that. So it's amazing. Ish,
Yeah.
one, I'll say thank you to Angela for connecting us.
Woo!
You are the best. Anyway, this has been amazing. This
Yes.
has been actual real things that I think people don't really think about your branding and what you really need to do to play the game and how you really need to show up, how you can actually show up better on LinkedIn and YouTube and the consistency. So thank you. This has been extremely helpful for me. I hope it's helpful for other people that are listening or watching. This has been the Level Up Career Playbook podcast. My name is Brian Bell. That was Trish Lindo. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.